joining again. This is stream number 2 for today. And now we're back at it. Where we left off, we were trying to mount the motor mounts for working find the missing metal spring positioning of the Y motor, which we want to be pretty straight in line. Here we go. There you go. Is that the right angle? Okay. So we have our full frame. Sorry about that. Okay, so thanks again for joining. Very quickly, this is our second stream of the day. We took a quick break to watch the printed Hypercube Evo build, frame build, and now we're back at it. When we left off, we were handling the motor mounts, which are now in place along with the motors. The Z rod holders are now in place. I just finished mounting the bed, which seems to have reasonable wow, okay, reasonable motion, and so we can tighten that up, I think, or tighten up the Z motor once we're sure it's truly in line. That looks in line to me. I do have a close-up camera that I should be using here. Bear with me, I kicked on this stream a tad early with respect to getting these things lined up. Okay, that's plugged in. This goes here. And can turn this on, we will get, hi John, was that message left when I had screwed up and not turned off my pause music? Oh, restaurant. Oh, hey, enjoy your dinner, man. Hey, Zimmy, how's it going? It is coming along. We're making significant progress here. Looking at a smaller window. No on Discord. Walter starting. Okay, that was earlier. Okay. 148. I'm getting my close-up camera lined up so you can take a look at some of this stuff. And I guess, John, that isn't going to help you because you should be focusing on your family. Enjoy your meal. Okay, that's the close-up camera. Why is it not cameraing? $148. Okay, we'll come back to this momentarily. What do we need to do? I need to turn off Auto Live. Where is that? Auto Live. Okay. All right. Let me go look at what is wrong with our close-up camera. No, it's shut down when not live. So if we do this, no, that is not going. All right. So I'm going to jump through a little promotional thing that it does. Okay. Droid cam. There we go. And now we can inspect this more closely. So the problem I was having was around the way these brackets are mounted. They do this wraparound thing where you actually have 2 screws here and 4 screws underneath and behind behind the motor here. And as you imagine, getting those aligned and slid into place, because you can't actually position it like you would with any other square nut. You have to get it aligned and sort of jam it and sort of slide it up into place. The same thing applies here. If we can see down here, you can see that we actually do have the nuts turned, which is tricky. I ended up having to slide the nuts in after the fact on this side in order to get these lined up right. Now, I did get this aligned. Did I tighten it? I did not tighten it. Let us tighten that before we forget. All right. Is this the position we want? That is not adjusting the angle at all, so let's go that route. All right. Okay. Anyway, what was I going to look at with the close-up camera? I've lost track now. Oh, we were looking at the alignment of our... We're looking at the alignment of our belt here. So we see that... I'm not sure where we're getting this grinding sound. Is that because the belt isn't aligned right? It's okay there. Coming back, we're hearing it. I think that's this. Okay. Tighten that up. Maybe that's the motor not being aligned right. Yeah, it is. Oh, you can see it rubbing against the outer edge of the gear. So you gotta get this on like that, maybe. That's better. Because you want it to remain on the hob or knurled part of the gear, and not on the rest of the mount. Just sort of jumped like. That's smooth enough motion. All right. Let us switch back to a more reasonable camera here. All right. And we can tighten up these mounts. And then we're ready to do Z. Oh, I should point out one fatal flaw with this design. Again, this is the AM8 reinforced. It has a problem. Let's see, how can we view this? Over here. Sorry about that. There we go. You're getting echo. No, the other camera is, or the other mic is off. You should not be getting echo. Do we have other multiple audio sources lined up? No, we have one audio source, and it's right here. There should be no echo. You know, Zimmy, I need a beer, but since I'm on a stream and YouTube is picky about this shit, I am stuck with ginger beer, which has no alcohol. Did you hear that, Google? No alcohol on stream. All right. Okay, why? So I don't know if you're still getting echo or that's an old message at this point. But there shouldn't be any. That's tight, that's tight. This, I need to tighten down the base of the motor. I was going to talk about the fatal flaw, yes. So the y-axis, that's what I was going to use the close-up camera for. The y-axis you'll enjoy this. Let's see. I guess I can go back to Auto Live. Auto Live. Okay. So check out the y-axis switch, limit switch. What am I doing here? Y-axis limit switch here. Notice that the bed passes right by it. Does not trigger the limit switch at any point, for the limit switch is too low. It does not approach the bed. It isn't properly aligned with the bed or the bed carriage, which I guess is the way this is supposed to work. It should be aligned with the bed carriage. So that'll need to be fixed. Presumably, no, this is supposed to be related to AM8 hardware, so they knew exactly the size of those limit switches. Someone just fucked up the design. So I'll be fixing that tonight and reprinting that part, I guess. But let's get the rest of this thing assembled. And go from there. So it is time, I think, for the Y rods and the you know, before I add more weight to this thing, I'm going to put on the feet. I'd rather this thing have some feet. Then we'll do our Z rods and X axis. Oh. I have again lost my place. I had initially flipped this thing over to tighten the Z motor mount points. And there are, like I said, 4 of them on the underside, or inside as it is, and 1 on the top. I guess I said 6 before. There's 1 on the top, and so 5, and 4 on the inside. Okay. Now, feet. I believe we do not need washers for these, but it's not entirely clear how thick this rubber really is. Anyway, let's go back. So we got these snazzy little feet from Amazon. Cost all of $10 for 10, or $11 for 10 or something. And they fit an M5 screw, which we have many of, since that's what we're doing here. And take our square nut. Come on, square nut. You know you want your life to have purpose. Fit into this build. It takes some force, but it is rubber, so it will handle these M5 screws with aplomb after a fashion. So I'm just going to put this in here and use this to force the screw in sufficiently tightly, and we see that it holds. Success. Okay. 1. It says to use 6. No, I haven't decided yet. I'm going to do 4 or 6. We'll start with 4. Anyway, the feet are going on now primarily because the X motors are aligned, and again, they had this snazzy jig that was included in the prints. The designs related to the AM8 reinforced. This one just ain't going. The tolerances are not the same on these on these feet. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, once it gets past that initial lip, it goes right in, but this one is not passing the outer lip correctly. There we go. Just needed the proper application of elbow grease. Yeah, I don't know whether I need 6. It's a tough call. I don't know. Maybe I should use 6 just because I can. But I'm saving 4 for the Prusa because I have no idea whether they got their act together and put proper proper mounted feet as opposed to the stick-in ones that they were including initially. So I figure at least 4 are going to be used for that. But I was just getting tired of scraping up my cutting mat with the edge of these extrusions. I did think about printing these feet. And it wouldn't have been too hard. I mean, if you do print any of the TPUs with a show hardness of like 95, you'll get reasonable rubber simile, or rubber similar behaviors anyway. All right. Time for Z-rods. Yeah, I checked. This mic is not on. Test, test. Nope. Not on. In fact, I can power it off. Do we still have echo? This thing is run by Phantom, 48 volts Phantom power, and it's not on. In fact, I mean, I can unplug it. All right, let's try something. Test, 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 test. How about now? Still echo? I mean, I guess it's conceivable that the computer would have been taking input from some other mic, but oh, okay. So what I ended up doing was turning off the loop back on the mixer, so it must have been pulling something back from the computer. All right, that's good to know. What have I done here? Do not leave your Dremel on the floor. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay. So, Z-rods. Flats facing forward on the Z motors, and we're not getting a good angle on this, and we're not going to get a good angle from the other camera either. So just trust me, I'm installing the what I'm doing is installing our Z-rods, which already have their couplers in place. Now, I'm not using the version with the Z bearings, and I'm not sure the version of the see, I'm looking at this. That seems ridiculous. All right, so what I'm seeing here, they had a version of the Z-rod holders that had a Z bearing mount here. This version does not. But it doesn't even have a cutout, so the rods themselves are impacting the mount point. I'm going to go with it and assume someone knew what they were doing when they put this together, or when they put this design together, but clearly because the why end stop positioning is wrong. Someone didn't know something, or didn't test something. But anyway, we will go with this as is. Now I do want to make sure that I got that right. Okay, there's the flat, and there's our screw. And we're going to position it like so, with like 2 millimeters to spare there. I guess those can just be free floating because the z-axis keeps them in line, but wow, that seems iffy. All right, flat is forward, aligned with screw. Okay, Z-rods are in. Slide the clips down to meet the rods. Yeah, except the clips are slid down only as far as the top of their mount point. There's a screw here that's meant to go into the extrusion, so there's no sliding them up further than this. I could conceivably slide the motor mounts down, but not without removing the motors and doing it over again. I might do that, but first we're going to try this approach. And I might actually go use the bearing versions, which use 608s slid over top of the lead screws, but I don't have 608s, which is why I didn't do it that way initially. Now, the way I'm going to do this is really, really iffy. But you think I should run the axis down the lead screws and then position them on the mount. Yeah, you're right. That's what I should do. Yeah, there are 13 millimeters of, I'm guessing that's 13 millimeters, just like there's 13 millimeters of smooth rod that extend up above here. So there's 13 millimeters of leeway, and there's like 30 millimeters that I could slide these motor mounts down. But like I said, I used the jig that they had included, figuring that was properly sized. And it may not have been. I've lost track of what I'm doing. Okay, I'm loosening my lead screws again, removing them. And we're going to okay. What we're going to do is we're going to thread the lead screws onto the x-axis nuts. We're going to do it about halfway down. I'm then going to slide the smooth rods down through the top axis point, or the rod holders here, down into position, which should secure things. I will then rotate the lead screws until they're down into position on the motor. I really don't like the way that is going to work. This will be interesting. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. Here's our x-axis assembly, also in nice blue PETG. While we're looking at this, it's worth pointing out that I much prefer this manner of let's see. This type of X-tensioner rather than the type that so the X-tensioner is right here. There's a bolt right here that you tighten to get tension here, because you shouldn't need to tension this stuff that so often that you need access to it on the side of the mount. That's just always struck me as ridiculous. So there's a variant of the standard E3D mount that supports that tensioner and the variety of sensor mounts that one would want. All right. So we're going to thread one lead screw. Two lead screws. I need to switch cameras 1 second. threading the lead screws first, and then we're going to position them. That's not good. Okay, we need that there, that there. Okay. Now the smooth rods, then we tighten the mounts. Is that the idea? So sliding the X down the smooth rods wouldn't have worked in this case because, again, I would have needed to remove the holders, which you can't really get in a way that would make it make sense to do it that way. I did test both of these. Uh-oh. I'm losing a lot of bearing innards. But we're there. Is it securely in place? Well, not quite. There we go. Now it's securely in place. You're right. I did this entirely incorrectly. I should have done the smooth rods first. I should have then threaded the... I should have disassembled the joints entirely rather than leaving them on the rods. That was my mistake. Uh-oh. My bearing is coming out, which means something is very wrong. So my bearing is sliding out my linear bearing is sliding out rather than my rod sliding in, which tells me that John Mack was completely correct. I should have done this the other way. Yeah. I'm concerned that I might have shortened my Z-axis too much. That is, pushed the rods through the Z holders too far. And that's why I was having to apply so much pressure. All right, back to the drawing board. Here's my Z coupler hex key. Okay. Yeah, this approach will, or this sequence of operations will improve the installation substantially, I think. Okay. Z rods, you say? Z smooth rods, you say? We have to slide them down through the top. Probably means I need to replace my linear bearing sooner rather than later, since I've lost so many bearing balls at this point. But let's do it this way anyway. What gives? I see one smooth rod. Oh, there's the other smooth rod. Okay. These appear misaligned to me. We'll just assume that my eyesight is bad and that these are fine for the moment. Ah, shit. More bearing balls. Okay. Okay, so what do I need to do here? To loosen my X belt and then yank these things apart to the point where they're properly positioned. Here. That is not the right hex key, isn't it? No, it is not. Where is the correct hex key? Here we go. Is that right? Doesn't seem right. No, it's not. Should be this one. Yeah, it almost makes it. The z-axis is too short. I need to, or no, I'm sorry, not the z-axis. The x-axis is too short. I pushed the ends on too far. So I just need to loosen them off a little bit. I'm just not sure how to do that. Okay, Google, what time is it? 9:49. Yeah. All right. This too tight. Yeah. Let's loosen that belt a little bit more so we don't crunch anything when we do this. I guess I can just sort of loop this around here. And loop this around here along with this. I should have realized this flow when I saw how much extra X belt I had. All right. X belt is undone completely. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I need to loosen up these. Did my stream die? No, it did not die. I don't think it died. Says I'm live, but yes, it doesn't seem to be. There we go. All right, so is YouTube liking it now? No. Come on, YouTube. You know you can do it. You know you can do it. It says stream health is good, but it's still not playing video for me off of the YouTube screen. Let me reload and see if it's happy again. No, still bad. Says the stream health is good though. Let's switch cameras just to change things up. And it's still dead.